$6,500 for this Harley-Davidson Nightster? This dealer must be insane. But how can you get this offer? Just 2 years ago, bikes like the Nightster and even $30,000 Harleys were symbols of American power, riding out of showrooms for full price, sometimes even over the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Now, desperate dealers are slashing prices in a liquidation frenzy, marking down flagship models to levels nobody thought possible. At the same time, Harley's revenue has plunged 60%. 47,000 motorcycles sit unsold across the country, and some of America's biggest dealers are quietly shutting their doors for good. How did Harley-Davidson go from premium legend to fire sale chaos almost overnight? And what does it mean for the future of this iconic brand? That story, along with the full, shocking discount sheet, begins right here. $6,500 for this Harley-Davidson Nightster? This dealer must be insane. But how can you get this offer? The official sticker on a brand new Nightster reads $10,499. That's the price Harley set for 2025. Yet right now, some dealers are advertising the same bike for $9,999. Already a $500 drop, with more incentives layered on top. But $6,500? That's not a typo. It's the kind of number you'd expect on a used bike with a salvage title, not a zero-mile showroom machine. So how does a $10,499 motorcycle end up with a price tag that looks like a used Honda Shadow? The answer starts with a tidal wave of unsold inventory and the financial pain that comes with it. Across the country, Harley dealerships are suffocating under the weight of nearly 48,000 unsold bikes. That's $2.3 billion in inventory, most of it collecting dust for months on end. In Dallas, one dealer is sitting on 247 unsold motorcycles, each one racking up daily interest, insurance, and storage costs. $341 per bike per day. The math is relentless. After just 1 month, that's $47,000 bleeding out of the bottom line, with not a single bike sold. Miami's biggest dealer is even deeper in the hole, with 312 bikes on the floor and some dating back to last model year. Every unsold bike is a ticking time bomb. Desperate to stop the financial bleeding, dealers are slashing prices to levels nobody thought possible. The Nightster, once Harley's entry ticket to the American dream, is now a loss leader. Officially, Harley dropped the MSRP to $9,999, hoping to spark demand. But the real story is what happens behind closed doors. Dealers drowning in inventory are quietly offering even steeper discounts, sometimes dipping below $7,000 just to move metal and keep the lights on. These aren't advertised online. They're whispered across the sales desk, reserved for buyers who show up ready to sign. For some, the only way out is to sell a $10,499 bike for $6,000 and eat the loss. This isn't just happening in one city or one state. Dealer after dealer is caught in the same spiral. Floor plan interest piles up. Cash reserves vanish. The only way to survive is to turn every unsold bike into a quick sale, no matter the loss. It's a fire sale, not a promotion. And it's not just the Nightster. Street bobs, fat boys, even $30,000 touring models are being marked down by thousands, sometimes tens of thousands, of dollars. The price cuts are so deep, some dealers are barely covering the loan they took to buy the bike in the first place. For buyers, it's a once-in-a-generation moment. For dealers, it's a last stand. The math is simple. Move the inventory or close the doors for good. The result is the most aggressive Harley-Davidson pricing America has ever seen. $6,500 for a new Nightster isn't a marketing stunt. It's the desperate reality of a market in free fall. CVO Street Glide. 3 words that once meant everything in the world of American motorcycles. Chrome for days, custom paint, every conceivable upgrade, and a sticker price that could top $50,000 before you even left the showroom. For years, these bikes were the ultimate status symbol. Dealers might get just a handful, and buyers lined up, checkbooks ready, hoping to get their name on the list. Some waited months, even a full riding season, for the call that their bike had finally arrived. It wasn't just the CVOs. The Road Glide, the Fat Boy, the Heritage Classic, each one had its own legend, its own loyalists. There were summers when you couldn't walk into a dealership and buy a new Street Glide at sticker. If you wanted one, you paid over MSRP, or you waited. The demand was that strong. In 2015, some dealers charged $2,000 to $3,000 above list for the most sought-after models, and buyers paid it without a second thought. Owning a Harley wasn't just about transportation. It was about joining a club that didn't let just anyone in. Back then, the Harley badge meant more than horsepower or torque numbers. It was a passport to a lifestyle, a ticket to rallies in Sturgis, Daytona, or Laconia. The bikes themselves were built in limited runs, with colorways and finishes that changed every year. Miss your window, and you'd be waiting until next season, maybe longer. Dealers kept waiting lists for the most coveted builds, and the lucky few who landed a CVO or a special edition Softail didn't just ride, they arrived. Harley's dominance wasn't just about the bikes either. It was about the mystique, the sound, the attitude, the sense that you were buying into a piece of American history. In the late 90s and early 2000s, total production soared, but so did exclusivity. Every new release sparked a frenzy. The company's annual revenue approached $3 billion, with profits climbing toward $350 million. For 15 straight years, Harley set new sales records. Those days feel like another era. The same badge that once came with a year-long wait and a premium price now sits on showroom floors, marked down, waiting for someone, anyone, to take it home. The distance between that golden age and today's fire sales is more than just dollars and cents. It's the measure of how far an icon can fall when the world moves on. $6,500 for this Harley-Davidson Nightster? This dealer must be insane, but how can you get this offer? Nightster, with a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $10,499, is now $9,999, a price cut. Nightster Special, with a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $12,499, remains the same or has a modest dealer discount. Sportster S, with a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $15,999, holds its price, but you might qualify for $1,500 off with a hero code. Street Bob, with a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $17,199, could qualify for a hero discount or dealer offer. Lowrider S, with a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $20,499, has a potential hero discount. Fat Boy, with a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $22,599, has a potential $1,500 off, plus a hero code. Heritage Classic, with a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $22,999, has a potential $1,500 off. Street Glide, with a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $27,749, has a potential $1,500 off. Road Glide, with a manufacturer's suggested retail price of $27,999, has a potential $1,500 off. Street Glide Ultra, approximately $30,749, has a potential hero discount. Road Glide 3, $34,999, has a limited but possible discount. Tri-Glide Ultra, approximately $37,999, has touring discounts or financing. CVO Street Glide, $45,999, has a hero discount, though less likely. CVO Road Glide, $45,999, has a hero discount, though less likely. Pan America, 1250 ST, with the manufacturer's suggested retail price not listed but likely in the mid-30s, has a potential 3-year extended service plan for $1. Harley-Davidson's financial unraveling in 2024 was not just a rough patch, it was a full-scale implosion. Motorcycle revenue collapsed by 60% in the fourth quarter, wiping out more than half the company's cash flow in less than a year. Unit sales fell 53% over the same period, the steepest drop since the AMF era. The company shipped 148,862 bikes worldwide in 2024, down 17% from the previous year. North America, long the backbone of Harley's business, saw a 13% sales decline in the last quarter alone. Quarterly earnings calls turned grim. Harley's total revenue for the fourth quarter landed at $420 million, missing analyst projections by over $40 million. For the full year, revenue dropped to $5.19 billion, an 11% slide from 2023. Net income was gutted, falling 43% in the first quarter of 2025 to just $133 million. Diluted earnings per share tumbled from $1.72 to $1.07. The company's gross margin in the fourth quarter actually went negative, posting a $3 million loss where it had banked $181 million profit the year before. Harley was bleeding on every bike that left the line. The collapse wasn't confined to one region or product line. Shipments to dealers were slashed across all 4 global markets: North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, and Latin America. Asia Pacific bore the brunt, with a 26% sales drop, while Europe and Latin America both lost 7%. Even Harley's attempt to pivot to electric, the Livewire division, posted a 42% revenue drop and sold just 33 bikes in the first quarter of 2025. The electric gamble, once hailed as the company's future, now looked like a rounding error on the balance sheet, posting $20 million in quarterly operating losses. The numbers forced a reckoning at the top. Harley's management withdrew all forward-looking guidance for 2025, citing uncertain macroeconomic conditions and tariffs. For a public company, yanking guidance is as close as you get to waving the white flag. Investors took notice. The stock plummeted nearly 50% from its 2023 high, erasing billions in shareholder value. H Partners, the company's second-largest investor, called for the CEO's immediate ouster and launched a campaign to remove 3 long-serving board members. Boardroom infighting spilled into public view, with accusations of poor leadership, lack of transparency, and cultural depletion ringing out in resignation letters. Tariffs piled on more pain. The European Union's 56% tax on US-built bikes hammered Harley's European sales, chopping market share from 5% to just 2%. In the second quarter of 2025 alone, tariff costs hit $13 million, with projections running as high as $175 million for the full year. Meanwhile, U.S. interest rates climbed to near 10%, making it harder for customers to finance new bikes and for dealers to carry inventory. Harley's own financial services arm reported a 20% drop in operating income in the fourth quarter, driven by higher credit loss provisions and increased borrowing costs. Every metric told the same story: a brand in freefall, with no clear bottom in sight. The decision to pull guidance was a red flag for Wall Street and dealers alike. In a single year, the company went from projecting steady growth to admitting it couldn't even guess what the next quarter would bring. For a business that once defined American luxury and reliability, the numbers now spelled only one thing: uncertainty. 47,000 unsold Harleys. That's the real number, confirmed by internal dealer reports and Harley's own year-end filings. Nearly $2.3 billion in inventory, stranded in showrooms from Miami to Seattle. The math is relentless, and it's crushing dealers one by one. In Dallas, 247 bikes sit idle, some gathering dust for nearly 9 months. That's $6.2 million in machines that aren't moving, each racking up $341 a day in floor plan interest, insurance, and storage. One general manager called it a slow-motion bankruptcy. Every month, $47,000 vanishes just to keep the lights on and the doors open. Miami's largest Harley store is even deeper underwater, holding 312 unsold motorcycles, with some dating back to the 2023 model year. The floor plan interest alone has topped $180,000 in 6 months. The only way out is to slash prices, but even fire sale deals barely make a dent. Some dealers have started exporting bikes overseas. 47 units shipped to Vietnam as used inventory, despite 0 miles on the odometer. It's a desperate move to clear space and keep creditors at bay. But not every dealer can find an exit. In New York City, the flagship dealership in Long Island City closed for good on September 28, 2024. Owner Paul Varaca blamed the economy and sky-high rents. The service department limped along for another week, finishing repairs, but the showroom went dark. Los Angeles Harley-Davidson in Fullerton followed just weeks later, locking its doors on October 31st. These weren't struggling backwater shops. They were cornerstones in America's 2 biggest urban markets, each with decades of history and thousands of loyal customers. Now, both are gone. The closures don't stop there. Alexandria, Louisiana, lost its only Harley dealer in mid-October. In Phoenix, Freedom Motorcycle Center closed with $2.8 million in inventory and $3.4 million owed on floor plan loans. In Wisconsin, a 3-generation family dealership let 23 employees go. The pattern is the same everywhere. Too much inventory, not enough buyers, and monthly costs that outpace even the best sales months. Since January, 127 motorcycle dealers, many of them Harley, have shut down for good. That's one closure every 2 to 3 days. Every unsold bike is a liability, not an asset. Dealers that once thrived on exclusivity and wait lists are now drowning in inventory they can't move. The old business model, build a Taj Mahal dealership, carry massive floor plans, and bank on steady demand, has become a death sentence. Even Harley's own buyback program, offering 78 cents on the dollar for unsold units, is just a lifeline for the most desperate. Those bikes get stripped, revined, and resold as certified pre-owned, a shadow pipeline that keeps the official numbers from looking even worse. What's left is a network in retreat. Fewer dealers, fewer jobs, and entire regions left without a single Harley shop for hundreds of miles. For the local owners, the mechanics, the sales staff, it's not just a business lost, it's a community erased. And for Harley, every shuttered dealership is a piece of its legacy slipping away, replaced by empty showrooms and darkened neon signs. $6,500 for this Harley-Davidson Nightster? This dealer must be insane. But how can you get this offer? Below is a list of 15 Harley-Davidson models, their base manufacturer's suggested retail price, and what crazy offers could look like in the best-case scenario. Nightster. Manufacturer's suggested retail price, $10,499, now $9,999, price cut. Nightster Special. Manufacturer's suggested retail price, $12,499, same or modest dealer discount. Sportster S. Manufacturer's suggested retail price, $15,999, price holds. Maybe qualify for $1,500 off with hero code. Street Bob. Manufacturer's suggested retail price, $17,919, could qualify for hero discount or dealer offer. Lowrider S. Manufacturer's suggested retail price, $20,409, potential hero discount. Fat Boy. Manufacturer's suggested retail price, $22,509, potential $1,500 off plus hero code. Heritage Classic. Manufacturer's suggested retail price, $22,999. Potential $1,500 off. Street Glide. Manufacturer's suggested retail price, $27,749. Potential $1,500 off. Road Glide. Manufacturer's suggested retail price, $27,999. Potential $1,500 off. Street Glide Ultra. Approximately $30,749. Potential hero discount. Road Glide 3. $34,990. Limited but possible discount. Tri Glide Ultra. Approximately $37,999. Touring discounts or financing. CVO Street Glide. $45,999. Hero discount, less likely. CVO Road Glide. $45,999. Hero discount, less likely. Pan America. 1250 ST. Manufacturer's suggested retail price not listed, but likely in mid-30s. Potential 3-year extended service plan for $1. Pan America was supposed to be Harley-Davidson's ticket into the booming adventure bike market, a segment ruled for years by the BMW GS and Honda's Africa Twin. On paper, Harley's engineers delivered 150 horsepower, adaptive suspension, a full electronic suite. Early reviews praised its comfort and off-road capabilities. But the Pan America never found its audience. Riders who grew up on dirt and distance looked at the badge and saw a brand that didn't speak their language. Dealers, betting big, stocked up on Pan Americas, expecting a new kind of customer. Instead, the bike sat. In less than 2 years, Pan Americas have lost up to 45% of their value. A 2024 model that stickered at $20,299 now trades hands for as little as $12,000 used, sometimes even lower if you're willing to haggle. That's depreciation you'd expect from a rental car, not a brand new Harley. The Livewire experiment went further off script. Harley's first electric motorcycle was unveiled with fanfare, a $30,000 price tag, and the promise of a new era. The bike itself is quick, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, instant torque, every modern gadget you could imagine. But the core was missing. No rumble, no mechanical soul, just clinical silence. In 2024, Harley managed to sell just 612 Livewires in the US. The latest quarter, only 33 units moved, posting a $20 million operating loss. Dealers who once hoped for a new generation of riders now call Livewire a financial anchor. One longtime sales manager summed it up. It's fast, but it doesn't feel like a Harley. It could be any appliance. These strategic misfires left showrooms packed with motorcycles nobody asked for. Floor space that once held road glides and fat boys now sits crowded with orphaned Pan Americas and unsold Livewires. Dealers, desperate to clear out what they can't sell, are forced into deeper discounts just to make room for models that might actually move. The result? A glut of bikes that feeds the fire sale cycle, with discounts that get steeper as the months drag on and the interest bills stack up. Harley's push to reinvent itself has backfired, leaving dealers drowning in product and buyers suddenly in the driver's seat. $6,500 for this Harley-Davidson Nightster? This dealer must be insane. But how can you get this offer? Here's what the menu looks like when Harley-Davidson's sticker shock becomes a buyer's advantage. The Nightster, officially $10,499, now sits at $9,999 in most showrooms. That's the new baseline. No haggling required. The Nightster Special, with a few more features, holds at $12,499, but some dealers will quietly throw in a $500 gift card or a parts credit just to sweeten the deal. The Sportster S, once the darling of Harley's marketing, still lists at $15,999. But there's a catch. If you're military, a first responder, or a veteran, you might qualify for $1,500 off, Harley's hero code in action. Street Bob buyers are seeing the same playbook. MSRP says $17,199, but hero discounts and dealer incentives can trim that down, especially if you're willing to take last year's color. The Lowrider S, a $20,499 machine, sometimes gets bundled with a $1,500 rebate or a 3-year extended service plan for $1, perks that used to be reserved for year-end clearance, now available in the middle of summer. Fatboy and Heritage Classic, both north of $22,000, are now regulars on the discount circuit. Dealers are offering $1,500 off, sometimes more, and stacking hero codes on top. Street Glide and Road Glide, Harley's bread-and-butter touring bikes, carry MSRPs of $27,749 and $27,999, but buyers can expect up to $1,500 off, plus zero down financing if their credit holds. Street Glide Ultra, with a sticker near $30,749, is seeing rare hero discounts and the occasional dealer inventory relief rebate just to clear space. Move up to the Road Glide 3 and Tri-Glide Ultra, and the deals get creative. Limited run, but you'll find touring discounts, special financing, or 3-year service plans thrown in. CVO models, Street Glide and Road Glide, still show $45,999 on paper. Hero discounts are technically available, but most dealers say those are unicorns. You'll do better negotiating on accessories or service credits than on the price itself. Pan America 1250 ST sits in the mid-30s, but some dealers are offering a 3-year extended service plan for a single dollar, just to get these adventure bikes out the door. In every case, the days of paying MSRP for a Harley are over. If you walk into a dealership with cash, a military ID, or a willingness to take last year's color, you're in the driver's seat. The only question left: how low will they go before the inventory runs dry? $6,500 for this Harley-Davidson Nightster? This dealer must be insane. But how can you get this offer? The answer traces back to a 60% drop in Harley-Davidson's motorcycle revenue during the fourth quarter of 2024, a 53% slide in unit sales, and 47,000 unsold bikes stacking up in dealer lots. Once, models like the CVO commanded waiting lists and sold above manufacturers' suggested retail price. Now, even flagship stores in Los Angeles and New York have closed their doors. The price collapse is driven by failed gambles on models like the Pan America, down 45% in value, and the Livewire, which moved just 33 units in early 2025. Discount sheets show Nightsters at $9,999, Fatboys and Street Glides with $1,500 off, and rare hero discounts on $45,999 CVOs. What remains unknown is whether Harley's leadership can stabilize the brand or if deeper cuts are ahead. The evidence is clear. These liquidation prices are a direct result of a historic crisis, and the future of Harley-Davidson is more uncertain than ever.